Testing, testing. Hope you all can hear me. My name is Alberto Villarengo, student of this EDU 534 class. And here is my video for week 3 on week 3 of this class. Building relations amongst a class of adults. Let me share my screen. Okay. All right. This assignment has been broken down into several parts. The video starting with the importance of trust. Students, as whether they are kids or adults, you see, are going to have personal issues that can impact their academic achievement. These issues can sometimes make such achievement positive or negative. Sometimes it motivates them to do better in school, and so they do. Sometimes it depresses them, makes them less likely to succeed or do well. Teachers need to be able to establish a rapport with these students so that students that are having trouble can open up, and then they can, once they open up, they can be helped, because how can a teacher help a student if they don't know what's going on? Important note, though, trust is a two-way street. Students must trust their teachers, but teachers must also be able to trust their students. Sometimes you get a good and hardworking student that winds up going through a circumstance that impedes their work on a major assignment. And if they lose out on that assignment, they could their progress is messed up big time. Honestly, teachers should be able, if a teacher trusts that student, knows them well enough that, okay, yeah, that was a genuine circumstance that they couldn't do it. I'll help them out, give them a chance to catch up and make up. But there's other students that honestly need to work on earning trust. They can slack. They can refuse to do their work. In such a case, they have to be encouraged to open up so they can resolve their issues. Now, going back to students trusting teachers. But sometimes the students there are cases where students fail to open up because they simply don't want to. And in that case, there's nothing else that can be done but for them to learn by suffering the consequences of their failure. That was importance of trust. Now, best practices to build trust. The key point in any best practice of building trust is to be open. Instructors are the ones that teachers must extend the helping hand, so to speak. They have to extend the olive branch. I mean, a teacher's got to consider the class as a group of friends and peers even. I mean, especially if it's adult education. I mean, we're all adults. The teachers and the students are going to be adults, so you're more or less peers. And you don't get people's attention by lecturing. You don't get people's trust by lecturing them. Hey, do this, do that, be quiet. This is what we're doing. If some unknown person started telling that, would you trust them? Probably not. Most definitely not in my case. Students you can't just lecture. You have to be able to be open to one-on-one with a troubled student, or work in small groups with excited students. Don't be afraid to share some personal life experience. I've had teachers that when they share their life experience, it's really helped me and the rest of the class relate to the subject matter at hand and trust the teacher more. Your teacher, as a student, your teacher is your friend. And as your teacher, people will take instructions better from a friend than a stranger. Learning the needs and interests of students. Empathy, it's a tool we humans have as social life forms. God allowed us to develop empathy. And it is a very handy tool, especially if we're working in groups. I mean, groups got to work together. And there's not always time to relay emotional information effectively. And when a member of a group is emotionally depressed, intellectual performance tends to diminish, and that makes the whole group diminish as a result. Emotions are, how you say, infectious to a degree. Teachers need to have their empathy trained well enough to be able to read their students and their class, and to improve their listening skills, so that students can so that teacher can adjust the course content to the needs and interests of the students, creating a more supportive and more engaging lecture that the students are more informed from. Excuse me, I'm gassy. Of course, not all students are going to have the same perspective as the teacher. I've been a student who's done this before, actually. There are students who will challenge the teacher's methodologies. Sometimes the challenger's method is right, sometimes the teacher's method is right. And sometimes both methods can meld together and fill in whatever gaps that each one would otherwise leave out. When a teacher is being challenged, their methodology is being challenged by a student's presumably better methodology, the teacher has to have an open mind and really reflect on the perspectives of their own and their students. Ultimately, this can result in students' methods being better sometimes. Other times, the students' methods are just better for them, and that's okay. It's not really affecting the class. The teacher just has to consider that individuality in learning process. Other times, the students' methods can be successful at times, but they can still be susceptible to a multitude of errors. Like, a method for one math problem may not be universal for another math problem, for other math problems. As such, it's better for the students to tough it out, adapt, and learn the teacher's method. Besides, having different methodologies at your disposal isn't inherently a bad thing. It's actually quite a good thing, as some methodologies will work better for some problems than others. Now, Grand Canyon University is a private Christian university, and as such, however, it caters to a variety of students from all sorts of different cultural backgrounds, including non-Christian ones. And as such, GCU has to, and any Christian school must be able to apply Christianity and their teachings to a diverse crowd. And in a sense, Christianity and its core principles exist in almost every religion of the world. Hinduism has karma, and Hinduism has a concept of karma, which is like your comeuppance. Christianity has the idea that when all is said and done, you wind up in heaven or hell. Hinduism, if you're going back to the karma thing with Hinduism, if you're a bad person, your next life is more terrible. If you're a good person, your next life is better. And that's just examples between two major world religions. Honestly, religion is a guiding principle of morality that helps to help people unify yet maintain independence these days. With that in mind, Christian teachers can cater to cultural needs of non-Christian students. By making connections and relations with other religions. This ultimately will result in accepting people's free will, a God-given free will, to choose their faith and worship. as well as adjust their lessons plans as necessary to cater to this free will. These here are my references. From the Art of Education University relates to the the information in that relates back to my first importance of trust, and the other two references, how to build from Edutopia and Western Governors University, apply to ways to build rapport with best practices to build rapport and trust, as well as learn needs and interests. If you Professor, if you have any questions, you're welcome to message me. To my fellow classmates, I hope you enjoyed this video.